This is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the FiredUp Network. Welcome to a special edition of the MMA Ground the Pound Show with Giancarlo Alino. We're going to look at Bellator 256. Bellator started on Showtime last Friday. First of all, let's look back first. Giancarlo, what did you think of their first show last Friday?
Oh, it was enjoyable. They have a lot of fighters that in their division, respectively, can compete with anybody in the world. I look at bantamweight. Magomedov is a monster in that division. He has a win over Peter Yan, the reigning UFC bantamweight or former UFC bantamweight champion. So he's definitely a guy that they have high hopes for. He's rising up the ranks there, and Khabib has a relative in there, cousin. It's Usman or Magomedov. So he's also rising up the ranks there in the welterweight division, so it's looking good for Bellator.
All right, and Bellator on Showtime. That is Showtime. Very big catch for Bellator. Let's look at Bellator 256. Let's look at the prelims start at 6 p.m. Let's look at one guy you interviewed. And by the way, on the Fired Up Network radio side, 122 platforms, Dalton Rosta taking on Tony Johnson, 4-0 against 9-2. Who's your call here?
I'm gonna go with Dalton Rose to win this. Like a lot of people are saying, this is one of his tougher tests, even though he's doesn't have as many fights as his opponent. I still think he's going to be one of the guys in that division that could be a star for them. He's still calling out Dylan Dennis, even in that pre-fight press conference. He even says that Dylan Dennis was likely not even going to take the fight, but he's putting his name out there anyways. I think Dalton Rose is going to continue building his name there, and maybe we'll see Dylan Dennis if he wants to move up to 185. That's definitely a fight to make.
All right. Any other bouts that you like to talk about on the prelim side first?
Yeah, the prelim side has some interesting names like Cody Law. A lot of people are talking about him. Diana Avsaragova versus Tara Graf. Tara Graf recently fought Valerie Loretta, and now she's fighting another fighter who could be on the rise too, who's 2-0. So
And
that's
let me
one to keep
correct
an eye
you.
on.
Let me correct you. Okay. You know where I'm going with this. Valerie Loretta, soon to be my wife. All right. Another wife that I have. Like, mm, mm. Let's see if we could get her on. She gave us a shout out also when we interviewed her, and she gave she gave you a shout out. She asked you to cut your hair. All right. So, but I'm Spanish. I un poquito. Come on. Un poquito, ya está. Baila conmigo un poquito. All right, so Valerie they're very big, but let's get to the main card here. Let's start off with the ladies. Kat Zingaro versus Olivia Parker. Who's your call here?
Yeah, I think this is a bit of a mismatch, to be honest. I think this is going to be a way, this is like a tryout, I guess. Kat Zingano's fighting here, and next week, Julia Budd's fighting. I think whoever impresses the most is going to get the fight with either Cyborg or Leslie Smith when they fight. So I think whoever has a more impressive performance here, I think Kat Zingano wins this fight. The last fight, she was struggled just a little bit, but we'll give her a pass on that. It was her first fight in a new organization. I see her taking this in the first round. I don't see it being like one of those decisions. I think she's going to make a statement here and put the pressure on Julia Budd to perform next week.
All right, let's continue on with other ladies' belt. Another person that Giancarlo interviewed there. So check out anytime we have Bellator, we usually get a few interviews. Vanessa Porto versus Liz Carmouche. Who's your call?
Yeah, Liz Carmouche was really impressive when she fought last in Bellator, and may have, I guess, showed people that she still is among the best in the world in her division when she's committed and motivated. We saw that side of her. It's a nice refresh for her career. I still think, like, Vanessa Porto is no slouch, 22-8. She's a tough fighter, but I think Liz Carmouche, if she wins this fight, she can be in the discussion there to get a title shot.
All right. So let's get to another couple of bouts before we get to the main bout. Let's go Jeremy Kennedy. This is a very underrated bout, I'd say, but I'm expecting a very big bout from Jeremy Kennedy and Adam. So go ahead.
Yeah, Jeremy Kennedy. This is another good step for him. Both guys have great records, but I think Adam Borix is a guy that might be going under the radar at lightweight. This is going to be a great opportunity for him. I see him maybe taking this in a decision. Like I don't see this being like one of those quick fights. I see this going to be a real tactical fight. I think Borix wins this, gets a statement win, and gets his name out there in lightweight because that division with Pitbull being in this featherweight Grand Prix, it's kind of held up the division a little bit. I know they wanted to have a champion. Michael Chandler's now in the UFC, and Pitbull can't defend that title. So if they were to do a prelim or co-main event to whenever that Grand Prix is for a vacant title, I think this would be the perfect one. Maybe have Borix taking on Benson Henderson or Patricky Freire somewhere in the future.
All right, and then we got Dan Morit versus his opponent. Who's your pick in this one before we get to the main event?
Yeah, Goiti Yamauchi is another one that's in that lightweight division. They're kind of all in limbo because this division, like I was saying before, it's kind of held up because it's not Pitbull's fault. He's taking the advantage, making $1 million in that tournament. But he's another guy like Goiti Yamauchi. He could be a champion if he does have the right fight. He's in the top 5 there for sure. When their rankings come out after this, maybe he can see himself being next in line for a title opportunity. So I think he wins this fight, and it's going to be, I guess, this is going to be a good card for lightweight to get their division rolling again.
All right, in the main event, the opening round of the Grand Prix there, Lyoto Machida versus Ryan Bader.
Yeah, this is a rematch. They last fought 9 years ago, and it didn't really go Ryan Bader's way. It only lasted a minute, and he got knocked out. But this is a totally different Ryan Bader. It's a totally different Leo Machida. Bader, the heavyweight champ, coming into this, losing the title to Nemkov at light heavyweight the last fight. He's re-energized because now he has that fight back under his belt. Fought at heavyweight for so many years, and being back in this division, I think we're going to see the dominant Ryan Bader he was before going into the heavyweight Grand Prix, and I see him winning this. I don't see Leo Machida being like a guy that has to retire right now, but in terms of facing Ryan Bader, I don't see him winning this fight in 2021.
So it's this Friday, April 9th, tonight, Bellator 256, and again on Showtime. But any word about Canadian TV rights?
Yeah, I asked Scott Coker after the last event last week. He did say that for now they're going to be opening that YouTube portal. Like, so if you're in Canada, you automatically get access to it, similar to what ONE FC did with that TNT card on Thursday. So for Canadians, you can watch it on the Bellator YouTube channel or the Showtime YouTube channel, whichever you prefer. And there are like talks. He does have an idea of where they're going in Canada, but it just comes down to the timeline for that. So for now, you'll have to be on YouTube.
Yeah, and don't forget, Bellator has 257 next Friday, and from the Mohegan Sun Arena there, and main event or another light or opening round in the Grand Prix. Phil Davis takes to hopefully another victorious fight there, and other ones is Corey Anderson involved in another fight there, and then like you mentioned, a lot of Paul Daly and a couple of lady bouts there. But this Bellator is this, can they compete with the big boys now that they're on Showtime? And just we talked about my future wife. Okay, we talked about my future wife. Do you want to let the cat out of the bag, Giancarlo?
Oh, she's fighting. They got a date set in May, so she's going to be competing on that card that it looks pretty good right now. So that's a great spot to be in. Maybe it'll be on the main card. I don't think it'll be on the prelim, especially with the knockout she had last time. So want to look out for that one.
On that card, the May 7th, also Anthony Johnson, Yoel Romero. That's a slobber knocker to say the least, right? And when you look at Bellator as opposed to UFC, and you're involved in both the media calls and everything, interview the fighters and all that, is there difference or similarity? Because when I look at and do interviews, it seems more relaxed on Bellator's side.
Yeah, in a way, like I see it being kind of relaxed because the UFC is just their exposure is so much more that you're going to get people from all over the place maybe asking you the same kind of question. Like if you're let's say Khabib, you're always going to get asked, oh, Conor McGregor, and then oh, Tony Ferguson. Like with everybody, with their exposure being in so many markets, everyone in that different market has a similar question. So it's always going to be brought up. Like GSP, same thing. Like there's always going to be about Khabib and fighting again, and he might even just be on to promote his show on Disney Plus. But they're always going to bring it back to Khabib and fighting again. So I think it just comes with the territory, and it comes with that spot of being on the UFC, like a multi-billion-dollar promotion there.
All right, Giancarlo, as we close out this special edition of the Ground and Pound show, Bellator 256, sort of preview here. Bellator 256 prelim underway at 6 p.m. and main card at 9 p.m. You'll be all over it. But tell everybody how they could get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at John_411, Instagram at Giancarlo_Alino, and check out some of the interviews. There's one with Julia Budd, former Bellator featherweight champ, caught up with her ahead of this fight, and Raymond Daniels, Bellator kickboxing champ. He's going to be returning. They're doing that rematch where, unfortunately, the last fight where he did like 5 spinning kicks to his opponent's groin, and he actually wants to come back for more. So they're running that fight back. I don't know why he want to do that, but that's, I guess, his thing. So he's fighting Raymond Daniels, and I'm going to be talking to Raymond Daniels about that.
All right, so check it out. Giancarlo does a great job. MMA, UFC, Bellator, wrestling, soccer, you name it. Giancarlo's all over it. Thanks a lot, Giancarlo.
Thanks, Joe.